The San Diego Wave have won 3 in a row. And now the Wave are in third place in the NWSL after such a clutch win against Bay FC. I was honored to be the member of the match and was just blessed to be there to enjoy the festivities and see such a phenomenal game that had so many emotions of near heartbreak to pure elation. And it was just absolutely awesome. But I just want to send a big thank you to the Wave organization and my ticket rep, Maya. They made a dream come true. Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I absolutely love soccer, and to be there, to be pitchside next to professionals was something I will never forget. But it's time to get into the game, to get into the analysis. So how did the Wave earn this win? And they earned this win. What surprised Mike Gio during this game? And who were the stars that showed up and showed out for our Wave FC? And this was really a big win, kind of looking back at it and seeing the totality of everything. At the start of the match, I checked the standings and we actually dropped to 8th position. The reason we dropped to 8th position is because some teams had earlier in the day games, and so they leapfrogged us with a game in hand, but we were in 8th place. If we lost this game, we could have ended the day in 9th. And if we tied the game, we'd be straddling the playoff bubble. So I don't like saying like match week 7 is a big game that, changes the entirety of the season. I can't say that. But to me, this was a really big win against an opponent who made the game really, really tough. This could be a win we look back on at the end of the season as being very pivotal for our playoff run or getting into the playoffs later down the line, because there's a lot of good games ahead. And I think this was a really, really big win. But let's start the Wave party with the full game stats. One thing we do every game, it feels like, we dominate possession. Another stat we dominate that's not on the screen is passes, pass accuracy. We absolutely dominated those categories and really controlled the game. And it's really nice to see Jonas's style of play really taking hold with the players, and the players just being able to learn the style. And we have a lot of European players, so I think that helps a lot as well, understanding Jonas's style of play. Yet, if you only saw the stats that are on the screen, you would say we absolutely dominated this game, and it was probably an easy win. It really was not an easy win, because if you watch the game, this was a tough game to win. We did dominate control. We produced far more opportunities than Bay FC. As you can see, we had 17 shots. 5 of those were on goal, compared to Bay FC had only 6 shots and 2 of them were on goal. Yet, in the 90th minute, it was a 1-1 game. We could have dropped points if we didn't pull out this win. And again, we would have dropped drastically in the table. And during this game, I was watching it, and as it approached closer to the end of the game, the entire time this is going to be a tough tie. If it ties, it's going to be a tough tie to swallow, because we did control the game. But it was like one of those games, it's just not your day. Things aren't breaking your way. The ball isn't bouncing your way. We hit the post a couple times. Once at the end of the first half with a beautiful Ascanio flick off a low driven cross. Then in the 88th minute, when you think this is when we're going to come through, this is when we're going to get the win, Cascarino hits the right upright. And it felt like it was just going to be heartbreak and dropped points. But I'm so thankful that the Wave never gave up. They were so resilient. They put on so much pressure in that final 15, 20 minutes in added time. And they got the goal that they deserved when Trinity nodded the ball into the ground, and you just see it slowly loop over the keeper, and everyone goes wild. And we were going absolutely bonkers. Vamos, Wave. We got the win. Such an emotional, exciting game. You had a lot of downs, a lot of ups, a lot of, oh my goodness, we're so close to scoring, and then pure elation at the end of it. And that is why soccer is joga bonito, the beautiful game. And we really did deserve this win. Probably deserved more than 2 goals, to be honest. But hey, a win is a win, and we are third in the NWSL. There's also something, I found interesting, kind of rewatching the game, watching it live, and also kind of dissecting the stats. We were crossing the ball a heck of a whole lot more this game than I remember seeing in prior games. I'm not saying we don't use that strategy. I'm just saying it was very prevalent this game. And some stats that I was looking up, we had 11 corners. 11 corners is gosh darn a lot. And we had 30 crosses attempted, which is a lot as well. On the stats screen that I just previously showed, we had 8 successful crosses. And the reason I bring that up is not only because I do not see us do this as often as far as just really going through the wings and just sending in all sorts of crosses. I think we have a very balanced attack, not only down the middle, but as well as on the wings. But both of our goals came from crosses, specifically corners. I think Jonas must have saw something in Bay FC that led him to really do a wide attack and just send in as many crosses as possible. But one thing I do have to critique, Mike Gio always got something to say, but one thing I do have to critique is that after our first goal off the Sanchez corner and then Wesley with a beautiful glancing header, top left, we started taking short corners. And I was a little bit confused about that because we just had this beautiful corner early in the game. Before the 10-minute mark, we score off a dead ball corner. And then you start taking short corners. And there was like 3 or 4 that I remember, and they really didn't move the needle. They weren't dangerous. And honestly, it felt like a couple of them were missed opportunities and just wasteful. So even though I think short corners might have been part of the game plan, and I'm sure they're working on it in the training ground, when something is working, don't go away from it. So I'm really glad at the end of the game, we went back to having dead ball corners. And guess what? That led to the game-winning goal. But this strategy did surprise me and thought, wow, we're either doing it more or trying to do it more, or doing it maybe with more effectiveness. But this brings me to the next thing, adjustments. And I honestly love how high level of a coach Jonas is and how high level our players are to make these adjustments, make these reads, and just the IQ that's on the pitch to control the game in the ways in which we do is just beautiful to watch. Again, I watch a lot of Premier League. I watch a lot of La Liga. I watch a lot of international soccer. And what we see with the Wave is very international soccer oriented. And I just love watching the style of play. It's so smooth, so intricate. And the players are just knowing where each other needs to be. And I love what is going on with the Wave. It's such an exciting way to play. It's a dominant way to play. Other than a couple games, we've really dominated games. But even though we give kudos to the coaches and coaching staff, we got to give kudos to the players, and we have to. Defense rarely gets kudos. Obviously, if they keep a clean sheet, absolutely awesome. But usually it's the goal scorers that get all the plaudits, and it's usually the attackers, the wingers, the center attacking midfielder, the striker, because they score most of the goals. But both of our goals came from our center backs. They scored both goals on corner kicks, and obviously one early and one late. Cascarino obviously looked good, had a couple moments. Goalkeeper save, hit the post. Sanchez looked good, sent in some beautiful corners when she had the opportunity to. Ascanio played well, hit the post, but didn't find the net as a striker. So these players obviously played well. Moroni, again, another great game. But definitely it had to be the center backs. And I will say, Trinity did take a really bad angle when Dolly lost the ball for the Bay FC goal, but also that is all wiped away from what she did throughout the entirety of the game, and then obviously what she did in the clutch. And did you see Trinity Armstrong's reaction after scoring that goal? Absolutely priceless. The excitement, the energy, the passion that all just flowed out in that moment. I hope she remembers that goal for a very, very long time. Great job, Trinity. It's just absolutely phenomenal to see a young woman be a professional and just a great monster of a professional already in her career. And she's only started a few games so far. So thanks for giving us that moment, Trinity. And let me tell you, we went just as nuts when you scored that goal. But Mike Gio needs to calm down. It is match week 7. And we need to recompose ourselves because there's a next game. And the next game, we have a tough opponent. It's the Portland Thorns, and they're only 1 point behind us, sitting in the number 5th position, but we do have a game in hand. One player that I love from the Thorns, Sophia Wilson, also known as Sophia Smith, prior to getting married to Michael Wilson. Seriously, just a phenomenal player, part of the triple espresso for the U.S. women's national team. But she is currently away from the field as she is pregnant. So big congrats, Sophia Wilson, to you, your family, to everyone that is, supporting you. It's just absolutely awesome. But there has to be a warning. We can't lull ourselves to sleep because one of their best players, their best player, is not playing. Portland is a good team. And the last game, they beat the Orlando Pride 1-0. Yes, the Orlando Pride, a top 2 team in the NWSL, they beat them last game. So Wave fans, let's get ready for the game and root Wave FC on. So see y'all in the next post game. I'm your host, Mike Gio, and thank you so much for watching the Penalty Kick Podcast.